Well, you too, man. We back with another one. We back with another banger. We back with another banger, man. Today we'll be reacting to how it ends for Marvin Raising Kanan season 5, episode 2. Man, I've been on that Raising Kanan in a little minute. I've been on it since season 3, and then I watched season 1 all the way after season 3, and then I got to watch season 1 until I caught up on it at the end of the season 3. I've been watching ever since, man. Raising Kanan was so fire. The only thing I really don't like is how they, killed Ronnie off the show so quick. Yeah, I know he had another acting role, but y'all should have tried to keep him. But I wanted to see him and Breeze interact. But this is how it ends for Marvin. I really think Marvin gonna go to prison. They need to make it somebody go to prison in power. Make it realistic, because nobody went to prison for life. Everybody just be getting killed. He didn't make it where somebody go to prison.
You gonna call the police, tell them some white boy with tattoos came in here and did all of that to these people, okay?
Guy came in with the gun, and he was white, and he had tattoos, and he started shooting everywhere.
Well, this is new information.
Now, in this breakdown, we are going to be going through Marvin Thomas, asking the question, how does it end?
I don't know any old, wrinkled drug dealers. They're either dead or inside, Tasha.
I had Ramirez looking to Tariq.
Bro, Tasha had me. This ain't about her.
Anybody who's around that boy for too long ends up either dead or locked up.
And I ain't dying or going to prison over your stupid shit.
We've heard across Power Book 2 Ghost, Power, and in Raising Kanan, you either end up dead or in jail. Even Ghost in the early stages of Power told Tasha that he doesn't know any old wrinkly drug dealers, they're either dead or inside. And that's the question that I'm going to propose to you guys straight off the bat. We're going into the home stretch for the entire show, so now's the time to ask the question, because we're finally going to get it in the next 7 episodes. Does Marvin survive or not? Or could he end up in jail? I do think they've done a very good job in the last couple of seasons, including also episode 1, which we've just watched.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Raising Kanan, if y'all kill this nigga Marvin, Courtney Kemp, whoever's doing it, bro, because it's not Courtney Kemp. Nigga, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be so mad, bro. Just get a nigga life in prison, bro. Damn, what is it so hard to put people in prison and raise it in power, bro? In the power universe, then nobody go to prison. Yes, they go to prison, but I'm talking about life. Like a main character, you know what I'm saying? Give a nigga life. Why those gotta die? Why the main characters the movies gotta die, for? I can't motherfuckers just get life or something. Damn.
Where they've left it open, where both are possible. You just never know whether Marvin could go out in a blaze of glory, take one for the family, take one for the team, maybe even sacrifice himself for Duke, or where he ends up in prison due to one of his many mistakes that he has made, one of them being killing Amber's foster parents at the back end of season 4. So that's the agenda for today's breakdown. It's all things Marvin, and whether he ends up dead or in jail, come the end of Raising Kanan, season 5.
They're gonna do a background
now, at this
check on
particular
this
moment in time, Marvin is on a complete rampage. He's on a revenge mission to avenge Lou's death, and I definitely don't blame him. He's had his ups and downs with Lou over the first 2 seasons, but then you start to see a real big shift.
Boy, got the house and party kid and play haircut. That nigga Marvin got the house and party kid haircut. You know what I mean? Y'all remember the movie The House Party with Kid, the little afro? I was scared of that nigga, bro, when I was a kid. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because he had a big ass mohawk afro, whatever. I don't know what type of shit he had on his head. I was scared of that nigga as a kid, though. Y'all remember the kid?
And the brotherhood really coming through. They both invested into Cafe Vu, they had a couple of moments together, and we have seen Marvin painting the town red even as early as season 1. That was when Lou was put in hospital by Unique's people. But the problem with Marvin is at this moment in time, and honestly I do not blame him one bit. As I mentioned in one of my previous breakdowns, I do think this was all of us in episode 1. We wanted to do exactly what Marvin was doing, paint the town red. But the problem is, when you're in this emotional state, looking for revenge, on the hunt for Unique who you believe killed Lou, sometimes it just leads you to making more reckless mistakes. Dropping more bodies and potentially leaving something that law enforcement can use to trace back to you. As it is, law enforcement have been hot on his heels for a large portion.
Dropping all these bodies, do all this shit with no gloves, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit. So certain scenes you do see him have masks on. I can't lie. But bro, eventually I know they had DNA back then in the 1980s and 1990s, but bro, still, bro, like, nigga, this nigga need to get life, bro. Y'all need to kill nobody off the show no more, bro. I'm sick of seeing the same thing. The same thing. Oh, he gonna die, she gonna die, nigga, nobody get life no more. Like, it's the streets. Nobody get life. I'm just saying.
Of Raising Kanan. In season 1, there was also Tony Deep who tried to catch Marvin on a wire. Then we saw how that turned into a complete and utter mess, which ended in Marco Baselli's death. As much as we love Marvin, he is a gangster who does gangster shit, but for some of the things, he definitely doesn't have a good track record. In season 3, he was also hot on Detective Tanner's radar as the man in charge of the projects, and it also got to a point right at the end where they were actually really beginning to close in. Detective Howard said they had to give Marvin up, where he then gave Rock a choice. But that's just scratching the surface when it comes to Marvin being on law enforcement's radar and the mistakes that he's made, the bodies that he's dropped over the past few seasons, and will no doubt continue to drop. So I'm sure you get the gist. The last thing he wants at this moment in time is to give law enforcement a reason to slap the handcuffs on his wrist and then throw the book at him for everything else they can find.
Yeah.
Now, just to pause on law enforcement just for a moment, should Rock have told Marvin the truth in regards to Kanan killing Lou? We have asked that question and answered that.
Yeah, I would have told the truth. That's my brother. You picking your son over your brother? First of all, you didn't call 911 for this nigga. Then you left him just like he was nothing. And then you ain't tell your brother the truth. Rock, it would be me and you. I ain't gonna lie. Fuck going after Kanan. I'm about to go after you. I ain't go back, but you didn't kill my brother. You ain't even trying to tell me. And the nigga need an ass whooping. The nigga need something done to him. How he been moving. Man, Rock, you a snake, bro. I wouldn't be surprised I see Marvin throwing shots at her, nigga. Tossing the bitches out of her.
That question in a previous breakdown, but I did want to look at it from a different perspective, and that perspective being everybody just always seems to blame Rock. Rock is always put in difficult situations that most of the time aren't even her own doing.
Patina Miller,
We can argue, yes, she doesn't help herself with some of her methods and toxic traits for sure. We often speak about how she definitely isn't Mother of the Year, but most of these problems that she has, she's always having to clean up after Marvin, she's always having to clean up after Kanan, deal with bad intel from Detective Howard.
I could be on the scene with her though, bro. I really want to do, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really want, like, you know what I'm saying? Take her out. Bury her, bro. I could be on the scene with her and she just looking at me like that and just get, he too sexy with dark chocolate.
That was in terms of scrap.
Tina Miller,
Rock is
bro,
always
so-
being put in these difficult situations, which she has to resolve, which she
Look
has to
at
also
him.
take the weight for. Everybody then blames Rock, but then
Exactly.
looks to Rock to find a solution. She said that back in season 3, episode 10, how everybody is always looking at her as the problem and then the solution at the same time.
It's okay, baby. You ain't the problem. No, you the solution.
Is that the same motherfuckers who always blaming me for every fucking problem they got is the same who always want me to fix their shit for them.
So it is quite ironic, and when you look at it from that point of view, she really was put in a tough spot in episode 1. Again, she was forced into making
I see some on Reddit. What was the light skin? Remember the nigga light skin? Remember the light skin nigga Rock was having, you know, fucking? You know what I'm saying? In season 1, remember she was fucking on him? Bro, I see someone on Reddit like, this is the only character that was smarter about him. Shit, goddamn right. Nigga ain't get caught up in a life. Nigga get caught up in it. That nigga was hitting Rock. You know what I'm saying? He deserved more worthy. You know what I'm saying? He was more worthy of his of another girl, so he moved on. You know what I'm saying? He was more worthy. You got what I'm trying to say, man. A good thing he didn't get caught up in this bullshit.
a very difficult decision that
I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if I can let Rock go, boy. She put that shit on me.
wasn't
I
her
ain't gonna
fault.
lie.
And as a mother, honestly, what do you do in that situation? Does she tell Marvin the truth? But then that also risks Marvin going to kill her only son. It really is a difficult position that Rock found herself in.
So she
But a
had
theme
two
that
sons,
we've
you
seen
allowed to
across
mark,
the
like, you know
show,
what I'm saying?
put her in a tough spot, blame her for everything, and then look at Rock for a solution at the same time. So just wanted to float that different perspective in terms of Rock's
See why I
choice
go
and
put this nigga
decision.
in jail for
It
10
is a
years.
difficult situation for Rock, and in my opinion, I honestly can't blame her for the decision she made. Now, this decision that she has made has put Marvin on a warpath in the streets, trying to find Unique, but in the background there is another small case brewing. Law enforcement are sniffing around in regards to 2 murders that were committed at the back end of season 4.
You gonna call the police, tell them some white boy with tattoos came in here and did all of that to these people, okay?
Now, Marvin did meet Gerald back in season 2 during his anger management therapy. He had 2 daughters, one of them being Amber. Alice died in a tragic accident, she fell asleep in the bathtub, and Gerald then died in an overdose, which left Amber on her own. She
How the
was
hell
then
you let
stuck.
your daughter fall asleep in the bathroom, nigga? It's some drugs, bro. That nigga had the OD. That nigga was doing. Next thing you know, she was gonna die. You got that lead the girl, I don't know, bro.
Kid
Good thing
with
that-
a set
I
of
say good thing that nigga died, but bro, he was a bad father.
The parents, who also then turned out to be junkies as well. I mean, rotten luck.
Beat his
In
ass,
season
bro.
4, Marvin then tracked her down, and you could tell how much she meant to Marvin because of everything that she's been through.
Marvin.
Marvin just wanted to do something good for a change. Ironically, whenever Marvin does try and do something good, it never really works out. And I'm going to give you another example from season 2.
That's a killer
Sam
gangster.
the crackhead. Rock told him no loose ends. He had
Nigga,
to go
killer
because he
though.
was talking to law enforcement
Yeah,
about
gangster.
Kanan being the shooter at Baisley Park. But
He had to
Marvin
put his
being
ass down too. Nigga, old man couldn't keep his mouth shut. Had to put his old ass down. Had to shut him up. Gave his ass 2, I think. I don't know how many he gave him. I know he gave his ass that hot shit though. So he had to put you down, nigga. He was a junkie teller. That nigga was a rat junkie. A
he
junkie
was
rat.
talking to law enforcement about Kanan being the shooter at
Rat
Baisley
ass
Park.
nigga.
But Marvin being Marvin, him trying to change, him trying to do good after all the therapy that he had, he put him on a bus, gave him some money, and told him to get out of New York. Don't
He
ever
won't
come
listen.
back. Lo and behold, he came back because you never trust a crackhead. So eventually Marvin did do what he had to do in the end. But whenever Marvin does try and do something good, it never really works out.
You know what I'm saying?
And this may just end
I
up
think that was when he got into that little breathing shit and all that. You know, he ain't trying to kill him. He trying to give him chances. I ain't listen, so he had to put that out.
being the case with Amber.
Oh, man.
The one time Marvin tries to do the right thing, it then comes back to haunt him,
dog.
which would be quite a poetic end to his story arc, I do have to admit. Now at the time, Marvin did mention he would circle back around to make sure she was okay, and he did keep that promise. He also mentioned when the cops roll through, tell them it was a white guy with tattoos. Now in 501, we did see Amber return
she ain't
with law
keeping that
enforcement
excuse, nigga.
questioning her around
cooked, nigga.
her foster parents'
I
death
heard Jukebox
because
gonna
they
kill
did
her.
know she was kind of swerving
see.
from the truth. She kept repeating
Hey,
the same
I ain't
story.
gonna lie,
that
y'all make Jukebox kill this little girl, bro. I ain't gonna lie, nigga. That's probably gonna be the craziest scene I seen in Power history. This Jukebox killing this little girl. I bet not let that shit happen, bro. I bet not put that in no TV show, bro. Y'all gonna be tore up, bro. Y'all gonna get a lot of backlash, bro. And then y'all gonna get a lot of backlash for killing a little girl in the movie. Yeah, you better not do that. Even though it's heartless as hell, I can see why, but don't do it.
Marvin told her to say, which,
Don't do it,
to be
bro.
fair to her, she did stick to. But at the end of the day, she's just a kid. Amber isn't someone like Holly from Power who can fob law enforcement off when she was being interrogated. They tried to blackmail Holly, they tried to catch her out, Cooper Sachs, Angela Valdez, but she was way too tough to break.
She was a
With
god.
Amber, she's just a kid. She is strong because of what she's been through and seen, but she is going to make mistakes in her statement, forget what she told them from her earlier statement,
sure.
changing
Yeah,
things
she
from her
cooked,
story.
man.
They're going to
Niggas
ask her
gonna tell her,
questions
man,
in a
just get
different
around.
way and pick up on small things that just don't add up
Oh
or
my God,
just
yeah.
don't make sense. And that's why they don't believe her. One minute the guy's shirt was open, the next minute it's closed. There are discrepancies on top of another eyewitness saying it wasn't a white guy with tattoos. Now, where it really starts to get problematic for both Amber and Marvin, you now have a foster mom saying she's going to apply the pressure from her end. She's going to tell Amber that if she doesn't tell the cops the truth, then she may end up going back into the system, which
Just
is a
saying,
bit of a
why you don't
shitty
just shut the fuck up and let the girl lie to the cops or whatever, bro? Damn, bro. Mind your fucking business. For motherfucker get to coming after you and your family, bitch.
situation to
Oh.
put her in, considering everything she's been through, even though it's just to get her to
Oh,
talk.
me.
Her mum and dad were
Holy
junkies.
shit,
She
I
then
won
loses her
episode.
sister Alice in the most tragic of circumstances. She's then put in with another set of foster parents who also end up being junkies as well. None of this is Amber's fault. But going forward, she will be under big pressure to spill the beans. And honestly, you can't even blame her if she does drop Marvin's name. At the end of the day, she's just a kid who's being pressured, blackmailed, and she's also probably scared. She has been quite strong, she's done what Marvin's asked her to do, but now that we're getting into the business end of the entire show, the stakes are higher than they've ever been before, and I do think it is time we ask that question whether
But-
Marvin can withstand the storm
Yeah,
that's
nigga,
about
life,
to come
bro.
his way, which he doesn't see coming.
They say Breeze
There's
gonna
going to
kill
be
him. I
blood
hope
and
Breeze
gore in the
don't kill us.
streets, you can guarantee
Don't let
that.
Breeze kill Marvin,
But with
bro.
law enforcement closing in,
Y'all better
could
let
Marvin
him in
actually
jail.
end up in jail come the end of season 5? Now, in my opinion, if it was up to me, that's the route I would go down, because I think if Marvin dies, Power fans really will riot. If you think Uncle Lou's death
it's
hit
not even that, nigga. It's like, why nobody go to jail in Power? Why nobody ended on a result be going to jail? You never really got nobody who just got away with long gold and just went off the grid. I mean, that nigga was in long gold. Tasha, that bitch was a witness protection. Rock might be the only person who like go off the grid and just live forever. You know what I mean? It's just nobody know where she at. That'd be a good ending for Rock. And have that nigga Marvin go to jail for life. That's what I'm trying to say. Nobody in Power, they ended on their character when it's about they were saying they go to jail. Niggas die in jail, go to jail, they get killed. You know what I'm saying? How them they go to jail, bro?
everybody hard after episode 1 and made Kanan out to be public enemy number 1, like I've been mentioning across my breakdowns. Just imagine if Kanan is somehow involved in Marvin's death. which I would not be surprised one bit if he is.
Yeah,
Just before the season began,
Nigga
we
killed his
spoke
other
about
hoe.
the need to clear the chessboard. We spoke
This
about
nigga
the
the
need
family
for
killer.
Breeze and Kanan to move certain characters and players out the
Oh,
game,
bro.
which would enable them to gain control, and Marvin may be one. We already know he's killed his uncle Lou. We know in the future he kills Sean and also Duke. Why couldn't he have a hand in Marvin's death if they go down that route instead of jail?
Nah, he's not gonna get
Just
away
like
with
I
that, bro.
mentioned before the season began, we were going to come back around to Kanan being the
Fine
cause
as
and
hell
the
right there,
downfall
too.
of the Thomas family at some point, and here we are. We're discussing the exact same thing. Would Kanan also be behind Marvin's death instead? It would definitely go a long way in explaining the complete breakdown in relationship between Kanan and Duke. It would explain why Duke also eventually leaves New York because there's nothing left for her here. But in my opinion, and maybe it's just me kind of not wanting Marvin to die, I do think I can probably speak for majority of the Power fans when I say we don't want to see Marvin end up dead.
Yeah, nigga
I'm
died.
hoping there's a different outcome.
Like,
If that's
I know how
jail,
Power rocks, so I feel like that nigga done, bro. If Power wasn't like how they is, bro, it might be like, man, is he going to jail? Is he done? But I know how they is, bro. Marvin might get killed, bro. And I don't want it like that. Had a nigga get life, bro, and put it to why she had to become a cop to get like to break him out. I don't know, something. Nigga, don't have this nigga die. Give him life, bro.
then so be it. Maybe at some point
Yeah,
he could
bro.
maybe even make a surprise appearance with someone going to meet him in jail in Power Origins for a specific reason. It would be quite cool just to kind of have that in the locker where you can bring back a familiar face for one scene. There's definitely going to be a few characters who do bridge the gap between Raising Kanan and Power Origins, and I can guarantee there will be 1 or 2 surprises. Sasha Penn mentioned there's going to be maybe a 8 or 9 year time jump between Raising Kanan and Power Origins. So the landscape in New York, the game, the players, law enforcement, everything is definitely going to look different by the time we get to Origins.
Ain't the
But
what?
this one, Kanan and Power Origins. So the landscape in New York, 8 or 9, there will be 1 or 2 surprises. Sasha Penn mentioned there's going to be maybe a 8 or 9 year time jump between
Okay,
Raising
8 to
Kanan
9,
and Power
yeah.
Origins.
Okay.
So the landscape in New York,
Okay,
the
ain't
game,
bad.
the players, law enforcement, everything is definitely going to look different by the time we get to Origins. But this one with Marvin, again, it's probably just me not wanting Marvin to die, when well and truly deep down, I think that's probably what needs to happen to make Jukebox turn into the full-on savage that she becomes. But let's wait and see. At some point, you'd also have to assume law enforcement will close in, which also does kind of mirror what Duke is going
Took
through
another
from her
one
world.
too, folks. Off topic, bro. Telling you.
Detective Garcia just continues
She's
to
so
be in
damn
and around wherever
beautiful,
she
bro.
is. We are going to see Aisha come to see Duke.
Oh,
That's
this
one of the
girl's so
exclusive
damn
images
sexy.
for
She
episode
dangerous.
2.
She know
She
it,
looks
boy.
worried, in tears. I'm sure that's because Detective Garcia is begin to harass and question her. So it's not just Marvin who's got a law enforcement problem, it's both Marvin and Duke. And at some point, something definitely is going to have to give with both.
Sure.
With that being said, drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on whether you think Marvin ends up dead or in jail. It's either one of the two. Sasha Penn has said the storylines will be closed, and there is an ending to Raising Kanan. So if you had to kind of get off the fence, how do you see Marvin's story arc ending? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll
Hey, man. I think the nigga dying because I know how Raising Kanan be in it, but I hope he go to jail and get life. You know, just so his character don't die. But like I said, man, we go. It's gonna be in the description. And I actually gonna be in the description. Follow me on all my social medias. Comment, like, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Come vibe with your boy. Cause I only be chilling.